What is up guys, Joe here, welcome back to my channel, and today we have episode 17 of the Trek-Segafredo career here on PCM19. And like the last episode, this is going to be a post commentary. I hope you enjoyed the Dauphiné and the Belgium Tour. In this one, we're going to do the Tour de Suisse in the build up again to the Tour de France. So let's get into it with this 9km individual time trial. And so you can see we've got Dennis, Campenaerts and Stefan Kung, 3 time trial specialists are the 3 favourites on the day. We've got no real specialists in our team. As you can see on the left, we've got Brambilla, who will be our GC leader. Also Stuyven and Degenkolb are the other 2 real leaders in the team. And you can see we're nowhere in this opening time trial. Victor Campenaerts takes the win, 7 seconds clear of anyone else. A great result for the Belgian. And so now moving on swiftly to stage 2, we do have a hilly stage, a few fairly long climbs. You can see I am in the breakaway with the Italian Nicola Conci trying to pick up some mountain points, which we will do comfortably at the first climb. And you can see moving on towards the second climb of the day, we're beaten up the road by a Katusha rider. I think that is Spilak up the road. And we now move on to the final climbs of the day. I think Mikel Landa fell, and you can see he has been dropped. And with 500 meters to go, we are going to go on the attack with the Gianluca Brambilla. Just 26 riders left in the peloton. No one chasing for the moment. We've still got 16 kilometers to go in the stage, so it'll be very, very difficult to last until the line on our own. And you can see now we've got a response. Valverde, Yates, Bardet, they're all reacting to Brambilla now. But like I said, it would be difficult, and we were caught with about 8 kilometers to go. 23 riders remain in the peloton, and Brambilla in good form this race on a +4, which bodes well for our GC. As you can see now, we do have some attacks from other GC favourites. We've got Conci though, and he's going to help bring them in for Brambilla. Now into the final 3 kilometers, we've got a chance to sprint for stage victory. And so just 2k to go now. Conci will lead out his fellow Italian Brambilla. We've got attacks on the right, Conrad, Hirschi, Valverde as well. We choose to follow him with Brambilla, and we're going to sprint now. 700 meters to go. Conrad looks good. Hirschi as well. Valverde on the right. It's Conrad or Valverde. Valverde takes the win. Conrad second, and Brambilla with a strong 3rd position on the opening stage of the Tour de Suisse. So this stage is going to give us an indication as to who will be competing for the GC, and you can see Campenaerts did hold on to his leader's jersey. He'll wear it going into stage 3, which is a very flat stage, one most likely for the sprinters. And you can see here I have gone in the breakaway with Fabio Follina this time. Again, we're going to win the first mountain sprint of the day. And you can see here we do have a very steep cobbled section, and we're just going to ride away from Ben King and Visconti in the breakaway with Follina. We're by far the strongest cobble rider of these guys. Ben King, the American, really struggling. Visconti trying to hold Follina's wheel. He's not going to be able to though. And with 48k still to go, we're going to ride away from the rest of the breakaway solo with Fabio Follina. And we're going to have to make sure we stay with other riders in the peloton over this cobbled section as well. So we tried to make it last for Fabio Follina, but you can see there 15k to go. He was caught by other riders in the peloton, and we have Demar on our right. He's sprinting for it early. He's being led out very, very early by his team. I've got Jasper Stuyven leading out John Degenkolb today, and with 1.5k to go, he sprints into the final kilometre, and now Degenkolb goes for it. Demar's well up the road. Selig coming. Demar, can he hold on? He celebrates early. We're coming very late, and we're just going to be beaten by Demar. Another 100 meters and we may have won the stage, but Demar wins it, Degenkolb second, and Mike Tunison in 3rd place. So now we move on to stage 4, and again, this could be one for the GC riders. We cut to the final 15k. You can see there's still 88 riders in the peloton. Landa's attacking to try and make up some of that lost time already. He's got Mark Hirschi on his wheel. We're going to have to make sure we stay right here with Brambilla, especially as our GC leader. We've still got Degenkolb and Stuyven who are just about holding on at the moment. Stuyven could have a great chance at the stage, one of the best sprinters left in this group, but you can see there has been a split on these downhills, which is not ideal at all. We've got Stuyven and Conci who are feeling good in the group behind, and you can see here they're not going to make it to the finish. We're going to have to focus on Brambilla, who's the only rider for us in the peloton, and you can see into the final kilometre we go. One of the first riders in the group, I think that's Hershey sprinting for it on our right. Now comes Van Avermaet on the left, Valverde's coming, Conrad again, it's going to be very close, but Caleb Ewan is just beaten by Greg Van Avermaet. Caleb Ewan celebrates, but Greg Van Avermaet just takes it from him. Conrad third, and Brambilla another top 5, a good result and a good race so far for the Italian. So moving on, stage 5 is classified as a hilly stage. There is a fair bit of climbing today, but surprisingly most of the peloton and our entire team would manage to stay over the hills and into the flat final 25k. And you can see now with about 7k to go, we are out front with Fabio Follina. We tried a late solo attack with our Italian, but he is going to be caught, it looks like, by the peloton as he is pretty much dead. We're going to focus on our big German John Degenkolb as we come into the final 5k. Follina still out in front just by around 10 seconds, dangling out in front. Surely he won't be able to hold on though, and you can see it will be the Education First rider Mike Woods who attacks past Fabio Follina. Hershey follows as well. Mike Woods is just out front. He's looking tired though, and with 3.5k to go, Garcia Cortina, that was, of Bahrain Merida, brings him in. Jasper Stuyven now leading out John Degenkolb and leading the peloton as well. I think Woods is trying something again. He's going to ease off though into the final kilometre and a half. Stuyven, Degenkolb sits on his wheel and now he goes. Trentin just to the right of the big German. It's very close. It's Trentin or Degenkolb. Very, very close, and John Degenkolb gets the win. We win our first stage of the race. So what a lead out that was by Jasper Stuyven. And now moving on to stage 6, we have the first big mountain stage of the race. And take a look to the top left, you can see Gianluca Brambilla on a +5 day. Love to see it. He's definitely not one of the big GC favourites, 74 mountain and hill, but we're going to do our best as we're feeling so good to try and stay with these guys on this big climb. And so you can see just under 8k to go, the pace really ramps up as you would expect as we reach the climb. John Degenkolb is going to try and protect him for the early parts of the climb as he's feeling so good today. We've also got Conchi and Michael Gergel who will protect Gianluca Brambilla for the remainder of the mountain stage. And now you can see 6.5k to go. Mikel Landa on the attack for Movistar. Remember, he has lost some time in the GC already from that earlier stage and that unlucky fall. Lutsenko tried to follow, he was unable to though, and we've left the pacing up to the other teams. And Landa, with 4k to go, is over 40 seconds up the road. As you can see, we've got Yates leading the charge with Dennis and Sivakov. At the moment, we're just sitting in with Brambilla. And so with under 3.5k to go, we come towards the front of the peloton with Brambilla. Yates is here, Valverde, and you can see now under 3k to go, we've got some attacks. It's Geraint Thomas and Yates going off the front for Mitchelton Scott. We use up Conchi, and Conchi is done with just over 2k to go, and Brambilla is left by himself with, we're at the moment around the likes of Dennis, I think that's Bardet, Reichenbach, Sivakov in our group, Pogačar as well with Mike Woods. And you can see Reichenbach, the local boy, trying to do it for Switzerland. We follow Tadej Pogačar as Bardet is done, Reichenbach is done, Woods on our wheel. We're sat looking pretty good on Pogačar's wheel. Mike Woods goes off the back. I think that's Sivakov now dropping as well. Pogačar is done, and we go past him. We go past Dennis, past Yates. Landa has been caught. Geraint Thomas has been caught, and we're the first man on the road into the final few hundred meters, and Gianluca Brambilla is going to win stage 6 of the Tour de Suisse. Unreal ride from the Italian. Thomas second, Landa third, and Yates in fourth. What a ride by Brambilla. And so now we can see we gained 17 seconds on Thomas and Landa, 30 to Adam Yates, and even more back to everyone else. What a ride that was by Brambilla. And taking a look at the GC, unbelievably, we are tied on the same time as Geraint Thomas, but we are in second place. So it's all to play for going into the final few stages. So stage 7 is probably the queen stage of the race, 2 massive mountains, and you can see the final section of that final mountain is actually slightly cobbled or gravelled sector, so that's going to be very tough for Brambilla, but you can see another +5 day for the Italian. As we come into the final 25k, we've got 33 riders in the peloton, and only Nicola Conchi remains to protect Brambilla at the moment. We head now into the final 12k. We've got a small breakaway just up the road. They should be brought in pretty easily though, and we're looking pretty good at the moment with Brambilla. So we cut forward slightly now to the final 9 or so kilometers. We have attacks now in the GC group. Bardet's gone, Pogacar's gone, Landa as well. We've been blocked slightly there by I think Thomas de Gent that was. Geraint Thomas, you can see him in the leader's yellow jersey. Landa has made his way up to Bardet. Thomas now trying to make his way up. He's going to be forced to lead us back up to Bardet and Mikel Landa. Conchi is done with 8k to go. We've got much longer this time to stay in our group on our own with Brambilla. 18 riders now in the peloton. It's going down all the time as well. Geraint Thomas working very, very hard. Bardet is unable to live with the pace of Mikel Landa at the front, and you can see as we head into the final 6 kilometers and the cobbled sector, he is brought in by Geraint Thomas. Only Mikel Landa left up the road, and you can see we're really struggling to stay with the pace of Geraint Thomas, who used to be a big cobbled man, as we know. So we're going to struggle to stay with him as Pools dies. Thomas rides up the road with Quieto, his teammate, on his wheel, and with 5k to go, we try a little attack with Brambilla, and we go clear of the rest of the peloton. So 3.2k to go, you can see, I think that's T.S. Benoot who attacks past Gianluca Brambilla. We're trying to catch Geraint Thomas, who has now overtaken Landa on this cobbled sector. He looks good for the GC and the stage win. Landa unable to stay with him, and we're not able to do anything about it as well. As we come into the final kilometre, Landa is done. T.S. Benoot, what a ride by him. He really enjoyed those hilly or mountainous cobbles. But you can see into the final few hundred meters, Geraint Thomas, he's celebrating. He knows he's going to win the stage and most probably the race if he can stay on his bike. T.S. Benoot will finish with a very, very strong second place. Landa third on the day, and Gianluca Brambilla with a strong fourth place on the day. Hopefully we can hold on to our second place in the GC with that result right there. Dennis 5th, Pogacar 6th, Lutsenko will be 7th. So Geraint Thomas gains a huge amount of time on everyone else. You can see the massive time gaps here. Brambilla holds on to second place, but over 2 minutes down on Geraint Thomas. T.S. Benoot moves into third place in the GC. A great race for him. Dennis 4th and Pogacar in 5th. Landa unlucky to be down in 6th. He's been one of the best riders in the race, but down in 6th after that early fall. And so stage 8, the penultimate stage of the race, is an individual time trial, 18 kilometers. And as we have no time trial specialist, we're going to concentrate on the GC riders and Gianluca Brambilla, who's on another great day, +4 day. You can see Rowan Dennis has the best time at the moment, and we're going to cross the line with Brambilla. Where did we go provisionally? We go 33rd. Geraint Thomas right behind us though. Can he take the stage? He goes 9th. And you can see 25 seconds down on Rowan Dennis for Geraint Thomas, but he's comfortably in the lead of the GC. We were dropped to third place. I did forget to take a screenshot of the GC after this stage, but Brambilla dropped to third place just behind Rowan Dennis in the GC, but still on the podium. So the final stage of the race, perhaps the Queen stage of the race actually, it's in and around Goms, but you can see a massive mountain stage and there's attacks early on, as you can see, as we crest the first climb. Just 5 men in that leaders group with Geraint Thomas. Landa and Bardet were up the road. Much of the group would come back together though for the next and the final climb. We're now on the final climb of the day, 13 kilometers still to go. Only Nicolo Conchi left and he's just about done. We're really struggling with mountain support, and you can see Mikel Landa on the attack. He's lost some time. He's still further down in the GC. He's going to try an early attack though in a bid to move up. He is brought in though, as you can see, and again 8k to go. Landa attacks off the front. Geraint Thomas will do the chasing. None of his team seems strong enough. We're going to have to make our way up to the front of this group, as a lot of riders struggling with still over 8k to go in the climb. So we're going to take position by Rowan Dennis. Geraint Thomas leads the group up the climb, and you can see everyone almost dropping straight out of this group as some pace is put in at the front. 17 riders now in the yellow jersey group, led by Geraint Thomas. And so that pace would continue, and with just over 5k still to go in the climb, we have Yates, Pogacar, Brambilla and Geraint Thomas in the yellow jersey group. You can see Landa is still up the road. He's got about 2 minutes on this group. I decided to do a little bit of pacing here with Brambilla because obviously Landa is now a big threat to our podium position in the GC. Worth noting that Rowan Dennis has been dropped, so we will gain some time on him, potentially enough to gain our second place over him, but we're now 2 minutes behind Mikel Landa as we crest the top of this climb. Hopefully we can make some of that back as we have more riders in this group with still 20k to go in the stage. And so now just over 8k to go, Geraint Thomas is forced to do most of the work as the man in the yellow jersey. I'm just wheel hopping at the moment with Brambilla, thinking about an attack, to be honest, on this group to try and gain some time on them. But Landa, you can see the amount of time he has on this group. What a ride by him. He'd be in a great position to take the GC without that unlucky fall early on in the race. But you can see the breakaway are coming across the line. Rodriguez takes it for the Portuguese team. We have still 2k to go. Landa finishes second. He deserved the stage win really after such a good performance. Into the final kilometre, we will sprint from this group. We're looking good to take 5th place in the stage, which we will get just ahead of Tadej Pogačar. Pogačar 6th, we've got Yates 7th and Geraint Thomas in 8th. And you can see right here, 2 minutes 48 down on Rodriguez and exactly 2 minutes down on Mikel Landa. What a ride today by the Spaniard. And so looking at the final GC standings of the race, we were just overtaken by Mikel Landa. He takes second place just ahead of Brambilla. 2 minutes 43 down we were though. On the man of the race, Geraint Thomas, absolutely dominant. He looks in fantastic form ahead of the Tour de France. Rowan Dennis was 4th and Tadej Pogačar rounds out the top 5. So guys, we've got a few minutes left of the video and I am going to cover the 4-stage French stage race, the Route Occitanie. You can see Guilherme Martin is the favourite heading into stage 1 of the race. I decided to put Jacopo Mosca in the breakaway today to see what he could do. He's far from the best climber, a bit of an all-rounder, so we'll see what we can do in the breakaway, try and get some mountain points as well. As you can see, heading up to the first mountain sprint, we do get second place on the road, a very good result. But looking at our team for the race, it's very sprint oriented with Machete and Mads Pedersen. We do have Stettner and Bernard as our 2 GC guys, usually helpers. They're getting their chance today to prove their worth in the mountains. And you can see 15k to go now, just 50 riders remain in the peloton, and it is just Stettner and Julian Bernard from Trek-Segafredo. And so we cut to the final few kilometres and this very, very steep final climb. I've got Stettner leading up Julian Bernard at the moment, but sadly, he's not feeling his best today. He's slightly stronger than Stettner as a rider, but not quite feeling as good today, which puts me in a bit of a difficult position because I don't know who to give leadership to. Perhaps I should have gone for Stettner, but well up the road into the final kilometre, we've got the likes of Madouar, Calmejean and Guilherme Martin from Wanty. 1k to go now for our boys as well. We're some way down though. We're not going to be able to compete for the victory as we're both dying on the road. Guilherme Martin though, he will take the win for Wanty Gobert. We've got Galopin 2nd, Masnada 3rd, Calmejean 4th and Frank in 5th place. And our boys would drop some time in the stage. Taking a look at stage 2 is one for the sprinters, which will suit our team much more. We've got Mosca, Pedersen and Machete who will try to finish things off, and we sprint with 2.5k to go with Mosca. Pedersen will lead out Machete today. With 1.5k to go, he sprints past Jacopo Mosca. Machete now into the final kilometre. We wait as long as possible, try and sprint past the others, but Christophe Laporte takes the stage win for Cofidis, denying Machete. It's another second place for Machete. In the last episode, he was denied by Mathieu van der Poel, and maybe today Laporte will do the same in this race. Stage 3 though is one for the climbers. I put a few guys from our team in the breakaway, as you can see, Pedersen and Mosca. Mosca trying to pick up some mountain points. I don't think he's going to be able to take that competition though. So we will focus now on Peter Stettner and Julian Bernard. Bernard feeling a lot better today after not feeling good on the first stage, and you can see the pace is really high now. We've got 21 riders in the peloton, now down to 17. Bernard is struggling to stay with the very best though in this group. As you can see, there's a group of 7 who form at the front, including Tom Pidcock, I noticed. Guilherme Martin attacking them though, and you can see He will take his second stage win of the race and most likely the GC victory. Galopin second and Masnada third again. Marc Padun fourth and Geraint will be fifth. Not a bad result though for Bernard, who will finish in the top 10. And you can see that will move Julien Bernard into 13th place in the GC. Nothing to write home about though as we head into the final stage of the race. Another flat one with Matteo Moschetti looking for revenge on Christophe Laporte. It's a +3 day for the big Italian. And you can see we're coming into this short hill. We're going to try and set a pace with Mosca and go on the attack with Mads Pedersen. Can he get away from other guys as the tree is blocking our view? We're going to try and stay in this group though with Moschetti if we can. And you can see Pedersen unable to go clear sadly. And you can see a group of 8 has formed at the very front of the race. And we may as well pace now with Mads Pedersen, Moschetti on his wheel. We have just 7 riders in this group. The peloton are very close behind and they've just joined on to this group actually. But we're now into the final kilometre. We're going to try and win it with Moschetti, but we go a bit late. Coquard on our left and he will take the stage win. Moschetti on the podium, but a disappointing result. It all seemed to come together very nicely until the final kilometre. Moschetti will have to settle for third. And as you can see, Bernard kept his place 13th in the GC. This race though was about Guilherme Martin. He finished first, Galopin second and Masnada rounding out the podium. And so guys, that'll round out this episode. I do hope you've enjoyed it. I did enjoy doing quite a variety of races in the past few episodes. In the next one, I think we're going to focus on the national championships. We may throw them into the beginning of the episode, which may include the start of the Tour de France. So we may have some Tour de France action in the next episode. And so if you did enjoy this video, do drop a like on it. That really helps the channel out. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. And I'll see you guys in the next one.